Thank you, Chairman. Gentlemen, I think you're hearing from both sides of the aisle. We've got to get our act together. I've run a company and as a CEO, and the main thing that you have to have is predictability. I mean, you have to have it. And I don't see how our industrial base has predictability from a zigzag seesaw plan that's been coming out of the Pentagon in this case. And I think it's just worth noting. I know you all know this, but it is worth noting for the record. According to RAND, between 2014 and 2018, China launched more submarines, warships, amphibious vessels, and auxiliaries than the number of ships currently serving in the individual navies of Germany, India, Spain, and the United Kingdom, and will continue to commission ships at a similar rate, which would put it on par with 100 submarines in the next 15 years. I don't see how, with what you have come to the Congress with here, that we compete with that, to be completely blunt and candid. So I think I would love to have a follow-on sit-down and understand this better, because clearly I'm missing something. And I don't think, bottom line is I think the Navy's pricing itself out of business. If you look at the cost of these ships with how we have to then compete, I just don't see and I'm glad some of my colleagues raised the issue, what we're calling a flat top line were tremendous increases in the last few years with personnel costs that are trending to eat up more and more of that budget, how you recap, modernize, and procure. I'm not seeing the math. So I'd ask for a follow-on to better understand that, if you want to address that now, and then I just have one follow-on question.
No, sure. Happy to go through in that whatever level of detail you want. It is a very difficult equation, particularly when we're doing a generational replacement of our ballistic missile submarine force, which right now is going to be about 25% of the traditional shipbuilding budget, will grow to about 33%.
But let's address the elephant in the room. One of the things that is driving up costs to just an unsustainable level is unpredictability on the industrial base.
Yes, sir.
Do you disagree? Do you agree or disagree with that?
I agree with your
as a business owner, I mean, you're going to bake that into your product cost.
Absolutely. We're trying to manage some of the unpredictability by the multi-year and block buy contracts. That's allowed us to create some stability.
Mr. Geurts, it's irresponsible to the taxpayer. I mean, and it's in the defense of this country. I mean, we have to do better. Yes. We're either going to have gaps in the out year. I mean, the same time the size of the Chinese Navy eclipse ours, we're going to have all kinds of other debt and entitlement issues. We have to do better, and we all, I think, want to be a partner here in helping you get there. But we have to do better than what we're receiving. Just in my remaining time on the ASW piece, again, the Second Fleet stating that the East Coast has seen an ever-increasing number of Russian submarines right off the Atlantic. Submarines are more capable than ever, deploying for longer period of times with more lethal weapon system. But we're seeing cuts in the P-8. While we've had some good success in recapping the sonobuoy inventory, we're also seeing requests come over to recap sonobuoys that aren't even in production yet. Some things don't make sense there. I asked Secretary Modley and the Chief to come back to me on that. I'd appreciate that follow-on. And just back to my original point, the acting secretary in the posture hearing, in I think a very candid moment, said we're going to have to talk about more money for the Navy. I mean, just because the math doesn't add up. I don't see that happening. So again, we have to, the cost driver to me is personnel and predictability to drive the cost of the individual platforms down. But I welcome a follow-on with you.
Yes, sir. Happy to follow on both the subjects you raised.
Thank you. I yield my time.